Hey you witches, how you doing? This is our live stream to celebrate 2,000 subscribers. Woo woo. You guys, we did it. I'm super pumped. What can I say? Hello, hello. I see we've got a couple people here already. That's awesome. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, drop us a hello in the comments. Let us know where you're joining us from. What else can I say? I don't know. I've been having lots of fun with Neo-Pagan November, which was set up by the Sunshine State Witch, Brittany. And every day in November, we've had a different hashtag. And I've been having tons of fun. So go and make sure you check out the shorts, my shorts section. I've done one every single day, except for today. I just realized I haven't done one yet today. I'll have to do one after this live. Hi, Justin! Aw, thank you. I took a shower today. I'm fancy like that. Oh, Cindy's from Ontario, another Canadian. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm in Edmonton in Alberta. Oh, my screen is like giving me all kinds of craziness. Hi, Ivy. Thank you. Yeah, I'd be fancy. So I thought to get us started, I've got a few questions that came in, right? I was like, ask me anything. This is my ask me anything. So we do have a few questions that came in online. And I thought, why not do those to get us started, to get us chatting? And yeah, if you guys have questions, pop them into the chat and we'll go from there. Because yeah, this is my ask me anything. So anything you want to know, whether it's about witchcraft in general, tradcraft in specific, you want to know about Luna, my dog, you want to know about me, you want to know about my life, now is the time to ask. So, actually I did a 77 questions tag, so it was about 4 videos, and on one of them I got a couple of good questions that I thought I'll answer here on the live. So, the first one comes from Dylan, my friend Dylan. I love Dylan. We chat a lot on YouTube. He's somebody I would probably consider a friend now. He says, could you do a video about how your group works, just to get ideas? And he was asking specifically about my guild. So I have a couple of offline projects, in real life projects. One is a study group, and another one is, oh, Justin, that's a good story. And another one is my guild. I started a guild here in my city. So basically all it is I just arrange outings. So I'm like, hey guys, come join the guild. It is $24 for a full year membership, right? It's a rotating year. So, right, for a year, it's like a subscription. And for your $24, you get, there's an in-person coffee meet every month. There's an online coffee meet every month. There is an in-person foraging walk every month. Except for we're not doing them December, January, February because it's Christmas and then it's too cold. So we'll start them up again in March. What else do? We do a monthly book club, which I'm just trying to get going again, where we all read a book and then get together at the end of the month and discuss it. And we also do like study book clubs. So right now we're studying Aidan Walker's 6 Ways. So basically, yeah, I just went and I used those $24 a month. Those buy us Zoom and a website. And then we have a Facebook group. And yeah, I just organize outings and events. I teach a little bit sometimes, like paid classes I'll do, and guild members get a discount. And it was just, I need to do it. I just need to do it because there wasn't a lot locally for people that weren't Wiccans. And so yeah, that's what I decided. So the next question came from Sam, and he said, it's hard to come by information on working with animal spirits, which doesn't feel appropriative. Like spirit animals, totem animals, right? He's like, that doesn't feel right. So he's wondering if there were any books on the topic you'd recommend for people wanting to dive into that. So the terms I tend to use are spirit allies or animal allies, or you could use animal guides or spirit guides. And this is the book. I don't know, it might be in reverse. I can't tell. It might be in reverse when you guys are seeing it, but it says Animal Spirit Guides. An easy-to-use handbook for identifying and understanding your power animals and animal spirit helpers by Stephen D. Farmer. I really like this book, and it's just basically a listing of every possible bird or animal. It's got a little bit of information in it about you know, how you can receive messages from your spirit guides, animals as spirit guides, etc. So I really have enjoyed this book. This came highly recommended to me, and I quite like it. So that is my recommendation for if you want to work with spirit animals or spirit guides. And then on Instagram, Grimoire Girl XOXO, who I haven't been able to put it together, but I know that she follows me. She came from YouTube. She says, how do you use your craft to navigate through changing times and the dark night of the soul? That's a good question. I'm going to have some tea. Look, I've got my basic witch mug. Ah! So, how do I navigate through, let's just say the last few years have been challenging, right? For all of us globally have been challenging. And how do I use my witchcraft to sort of navigate through that? So, really, it comes, I think, it gives me a very strong sense of purpose in my life. And I think that's the key. Like when you're sort of awash in these major like global crises, that you literally, as an individual, like there's nothing that I can do that is going to make a dent in the war in Ukraine, or that's going to make a dent in the pandemic, or that's going to make a dent in the atrocities in Iran. That's going to make a dent in the Canadian, the Indigenous atrocities that were perpetrated in Canadian history, like horrible things. And like, but having my witchcraft, which to me is sort of, I don't know if it's religious, but it's spirituality, and it gives me a sense of purpose and of connection to the universe. And so I think that, yeah, that's really how it helps me navigate, is it gives me purpose, and it gives me the ability to sort of stay grounded and stay focused in my own life and on what I can and cannot control. So I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, Grimoire Girl, but that's the one I got for you. All right, what's going on? Let's see what's going on in the comments. Joshua. Hi, Joshua. I just want to drop by and say I learned so much from your channel. Thank you so much. Henry Thompson, can I see your dog, please? Yeah, no. She's not allowed in today. She's a little rowdy, so I was like, no, you can stay outside with Dad. Oh, hi, Cordelia. Cordelia is one of my in real life friends. Let's go back to the beginning here. We've got Cindy and Justin, and all right, let's see. Okay, Justin asks, how did you meet your husband? Fair. Okay, so back when I was 29, I was almost done with my 20s, and I was like, fuck this. I hated my 20s. They were full of like romantic strife and ups and downs, and I was like, that's it, I'm done with men. I'm just done. I am not dating. I need to focus. Basically, I was driving my daughter to school one morning. She's like, Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be like you. And I said, oh, sweetie, that's so lovely. Like, what do you mean? She was probably about 7 or 8. When I grow up, I want to love lots of people too. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what kind of a terrible example am I setting for my daughter here with my like totally chaotic dating life? And I mean, she met 1 out of every 10 people that I dated, you know? So I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I'm like, okay, this is my sign. I need to like clean my act up. So I went out for one last hurrah with my girls. And literally it was I was like, I am going to have a one-night stand. And there was this hot dude standing at the bar, and I was like, that's my one-night stand. And yeah, we kind of connected at the bar, and then he's like, you know, let's go back to my place. And I'm like, yeah, sure, baby, let's do it. And like, he kissed me outside the bar, and my knees buckled. Like I was like, oh my God, like nobody's ever kissed me like that before. And then we went back to his place and fooled around. And then the next morning I'm like, okay, I got a jet. And he's like, can I get your number? And I'm like, no. And he was like, but I'd really like to call you. And I'm like, I'm good, thanks. And I left. And I honestly think that was my winning moment, because I declined him the ease of my number. And so, yeah, then I went to work and talked to like one of my good friend at work, who was like, you're so stupid. You're always complaining that you can't meet a nice guy. Then you meet a guy who actually wants to like take you out and, you know, go on a date with you, and you won't give him your number. And then there was I don't know if you remember Lava Life. Oh my God, I'm so dating myself. Lava Life, the online dating site. And I went on there and he was on there. And I was going in basically to like, you know, check the final options and shut the profile down. And yeah, it was a total power move. No, you're not getting my number. So I went in there and his profile showed up in my recommended for you profiles. And I was like, frick, he is kind of hot. And so we connected over this online dating site. Like, this is literally like 2 days later. And he was like, "Can I get, you know, do you have MSN?" Because it was back in the days of MSN Messenger. So I'm like, "Okay." We get on MSN. He's like, "Can I get your phone number?" And I was like, "Okay." So I gave him my number. And then he like, I can't remember if he texted me or he called me and he was like, "Can I take you out?" He's like, "I'd really like to take you out for a date." And then we went out for an official date and it was so awkward. It was awful. I was like, "Oh my God, I made a huge mistake. I've never seen." He was so nervous. It was bad. And but then he was like, "I really want to see you again." And I was like, "Well, I'm really busy." Right? I'm a single mom. I'm busy. He's like, "Well, I'll see you at the bar maybe around sometime." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I don't go to bars really. That was a one-off." And he's like, "I just want to see you." He's like, "Your kid has to sleep sometime." And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Well, what time does she go to bed at?" I'm like, 8. He's like, "Okay, I'll come over at 8:30 on Friday night. I'll bring a movie. We can watch a movie at your place. Would that work?" And I was like, wow, that's like super accommodating. And he came over and we watched Wedding Crashers and laughed our asses off. And he was relaxed and he was hilarious. And he had the most beautiful smile. And I was like, oh, there's the guy. And we've been together ever since. So that's a bit of a long story, but that is how I met my husband. He was a one-night stand when I was 29. So all right, what else do we got? Cindy asked, do you astral travel? And if so, do you create your own world tree to come home to, or do you have something else to anchor you back to your body? I do. I travel. I do otherworldly travel. In my other world, yes, there is like a central tree. I haven't explored it a whole ton of a lot. It's actually something I've really been wanting to get a lot more into, and I'm reading Aidan Wachter 6 Ways. I'm rereading it right now. And so, yeah, keep an eye out. Justin, the Witch of Enchantment, and I are going to do a little something about otherworldly travel, and we're going to try some experiments out, and we're going to talk about it. So, yeah, keep an eye out. That'll come out maybe next month. I don't know. Maybe in the new year. We'll see. We haven't talked about it, but we're going to do something because I want to spend a little bit more time focusing on otherworldly travel and doing it and spending time in it and really getting to like dig in deep. Yeah, like I've done it a little bit. Like, yeah, Justin, I want to learn it so bad. Yes, we will do something. Because like I've done it here and there, mostly through guided meditation, which is cool. But I'd really like to get more independent in it and get more fluid with it. And I have a lot of people ask me about it, and I'd like to be able to be like, yeah, here's the jam, here's the deal. Like, I'm not very good at explaining it right now, so I really would like to spend some time on it. Ivy says, nope, it's not reverse. Sorry, love, I don't know what that was about. Okay, congratulations. Henry wants to see my dog. Ivy's Grove, what is your go-to tool in your craft besides candles? Does everybody say candles? My go-to tool is my candles. No. I think my go-to tool... Okay. I got 2 ways to answer this. First of all, my go-to tool is my brain. Okay? I think for all of us, your go-to tool is your mind. It's really, you can't accomplish anything without what's going on in your brain. But that's kind of a pat answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's your brain. So I know what you're talking about, right? Actual tools. What is my go-to tool? I don't know. My favorite tool is, I have 2. It's probably my stang, right? Like, it's a big pronged wooden staff. Or my hoods. I've done videos before with my hoods. I actually have a whole like series on my favorite tools. If you go check out my playlist, there's one that shows all my favorite tools of all the videos I've done about my favorite tools. My hood, and then I really think that my Book of Shadows, my black book, is probably my go-to. It's like the compendium of all of the information, all of the knowledge I have to date, and that makes me feel good. Like when I crack open that book and I'm like, oh, check that out. Like here's one. I've got two. I just started a new one. This is my old one, right? And just being able to like crack it open and be like, oh yeah, there's all of the information, all of the stuff that I've worked with, all of the write-ups, all of everything. Like, I love it. Ooh, this is fluid condensers. Elemental fluid condensers. I'm going to do a video on that. Elemental fluid condensers. They're super fun to work with. All right. Justin says candles and urine. You know what? I've never worked with pee. Blood. I work with blood a lot. I've never actually worked with pee. I totally would. I'm not like anti-pee. I just, honestly, I just haven't had need to. I think that's what a lot of it comes down to in witchcraft is like, I don't have a lot of need in my life. So I don't do like, you know, there's this like idea that like witches just cast spells all the time. And I don't. I spend more time doing like meditative work, otherworldly travel, exploring mysteries. Like for me, it's a lot more like, it's not so like fun. I love crafting stuff. I love being crafty and making, you know, making up spells and stuff. When I do, I love doing it, but that's probably not really the focus. It's not a lot of what I do. Wow, that cup is, yeah, this is a Ray Dunn. It came with it has a little like witch's hat that sits on top of it. But it was so funny. They were going online for like $125. And I really, really wanted one. Like literally this was the example I gave to my husband. I said, listen, it's just a really big mug. It's black. It just is like basic witch in simple writing, right? I really want this a witchy mug in this kind of style, right? And I was like, listen, the Ray Dunn mugs are like $125. Frick, don't spend that. Like that's ridiculous. He got it on Facebook Marketplace for $12. Brand new, still in the package. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. Candles and urine. And Ivy's Grove says, mine is blood and fingernails. Very cool. When did you first start wearing your pentacle ring? And has any muggle ever questioned you about it? You know what? No. I've had this ring since I had my daughter when I was 22, so I probably got it when I was like about 23, you know, and I never wore it because it felt so, like it's huge, and it felt like, I mean, I've got like long fingers, I can wear really big rings, but it always felt very conspicuous, so I never wore it. And then about the end of 2020, I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't care. I just don't care what people think anymore. Like I was in this sales job where, you know, images kind of everything. And I really clashed with my witchy life. And yeah, I just was like, fuck it. And I started wearing it. And it's funny, I have one friend and she's very Christian and very outspokenly Christian. And I came in and she was like, oh, she goes, I really like your ring. Is that new? And I was like, it was kind of new in that I've never really worn it publicly before. Like she'd never seen it. But I was like, oh no, I've had this since I was like 23. And she was like, oh, it's gorgeous. I really like it. And I was like, thanks. And I just smiled and kept walking. And I'm like, I'm not getting into what it means. And then, no, but I have had people, like I'll be at a cash register and the girl behind the till will be like, I really like your ring. And I'm like, oh, you're one too. So it's been fun. But no, I haven't really gotten any pushback over it at all, which I think is kind of interesting because I really did expect that somebody would say something. But I don't know, maybe it's 2022 and people are just giving less of a hoot about it. Justin says, yeah, I don't think we talk enough about the role our brains play in the craft. No, and really your brain is the The tool. Secret codes, yeah, Dylan, they're like secret codes, definitely. It's like a secret signal. Dylan said, "Hey, sorry for being late. Hope you're having a great morning." I am Dylan, and now that you're here, it's even better. Woo woo. What else do we got here? Ray Dunn mugs are the best. People go crazy, but they are fabulous. I know, and I'll be honest, it took me a long time to be able to drink my tea in this mug because I drink it, my tea would just go cold. It doesn't anymore because I figured out you have to preheat these mugs. They're so big. They suck so much heat out just to heat up the cup, and then they're radiating heat. You have to preheat the mug, and then your coffee stays stays hot a really long time. But I mostly just use it when I'm on like lives or Zoom meetings and stuff because it's like, again, it's another little signal. I'm a witch. Lady Blindwolf, hey guys, please press the like buttons. Yes, please. Everybody hit the like button so that we can like, everybody knows this is the place to be this morning. Dylan says, I feel weird wearing rings, but I am currently doing a spell on a ring. Oh, that is really cool, Dylan. Do a video about that. I want to know about your ring spell. That's really neat. Cindy says, what are your favorite essential oils and how many do you have? Oh, God. I have a tray like this wide and about like slanted back about this deep, full of essential oils, plus probably another half a tray. So that's probably about 150 bottles. I used to have a Young Living membership, and I was on the auto ship every month. Let's just say I have an entire year. Don't tell my husband. I have an entire year's worth of, I think it was peppermint, lemon, and purification oil. And it just auto shipped every single month. It's like $85 every single month for a year because I was so like, I can't deal with this. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, so then I have a ton of essential oils from there. Mostly they're like single oils. I'd say I probably predominantly have like single oils, and then they are and about that last like full tray of single oils and about a half a tray of oil blends. I don't use them as much as I would like to. I wanted to go to aromatherapy school. I thought that would be really like kind of witchy, really cool. I love to get into like aromatherapy. But then there was like the whole essential oils boom, and everybody's like, oh, you need to put it in your water, and you need to like take it internally, and you need to like put it here and there. And what happened was I got super into it, and I developed massive essential oil sensitivities. Like even if it's like super diluted in a carrier oil, lavender oil cannot touch my skin, or I end up in a major rash. Let me tell you about the last. I had this lavender infused lip balm. And I put it on at night, and I went to bed, and I woke up in the morning, and my lips were swollen up. Like it looked like I had like really bad like injections, and there was like this red, like it looked like a smear up the side of my face from where my face had rubbed against the pillow, and it was like raised, like it was like welted up. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And first I was like, I must be allergic to something. Like, oh my God, but so like I'm thinking I've eaten something and I'm having like an allergy attack, and took me a while to figure out it was the essential oils. So yeah, but what's my favorite essential oil? Valerian. Valerian kills my anxiety. Valerian is by and far my favorite essential oil, my most useful essential oil, the one I use on the rig. I just literally put my thumb and just go like this and rub it in, and I like rub it right into like the base of my neck. All right. Secret codes, Ivy's Grove. I haven't gotten a backlash on my jewelry or my tattoos. I want to get some tattoos. I want to get some witchy tattoos. I have like one on my back. Not really, like it's not really. It's like a sun. It's about this big, and it's a sun, and then it's got a Sagittarius arrow in the center because I'm a Sagittarius. But the guy, like, I don't know. When I got it done, it turns out that this sun shape was actually the logo of the tattoo place. And then they just switched out what was in the center of it. And I was a little miffed about that. I was like, seriously? So I just have this one. It's right at the very top of my spine. I would like to get, I actually want to get a bumblebee and a dragonfly for my kids. I'd like to do something for Nixie, my lovely, beautiful mama dog that passed. And then something like witchy. So I have recently had an initiation, so I want to do something around my initiation. Oh my god, I'm getting hot. So yeah. I would really like to get some like major. Oh, and I want to get a wedding tattoo with my husband, but he's being all pushbacky about it now. We've been married. It'll be 14 years in January. We're finally like, maybe we should get those wedding tattoos, and he's like, meh. All right. Preheat your mug. Yep, preheat your mug. That's the way to go. Witch of Dark Light, congrats on 2,000 subs. Thank you. Dylan, you've never used essential oils before. I have loved essential oils since I was like 18 and I first discovered they were a thing. I love that they can have like just smelling them, like aromatherapy. They give you very specific reactions in your body. Like I said, for me, like just smelling valerian. Okay, to most people, valerian, to the majority of people, I think it smells like dirty socks. It smells like stinky, dirty feet. And to me, that's what it smelled like for years. But now when I smell it, it smells like pine trees almost. But they say that if it has that dirty sock smell to it, it's because you need it. And I totally believe that, because it almost always now I don't need it really anymore, and it smells more like pine trees. But yeah, love essential oils. I use them to make even like my Florida water. I make my own Florida water, so I looked up the Florida water recipe, and then I decided that, right, rather than getting all of these ingredients, it was a lovely recipe. I'm like, I have all those ingredients in essential oils. So it was like 4 parts this, 3 parts this, 2 parts this, 1 part this, 4 drops, 3 drops, 2 drops, 1 drop of the coordinating essential oils, and smells amazing, lasts forever. Can't recommend it enough. All right. Oh, by Witch of Dark Light. Ivy's Grove says, oh, my favorite spell or ritual is cleansing and charging jewelry. Which is funny. I've never done that. I put this ring on at the end of 2020, and I literally have not taken it off my finger since. I sleep in it. I bathe in it. Like everything. I don't take it off. My wedding ring, and usually I have an engagement ring, but we got it resized and it's too big and it falls off. So my wedding ring and my witchy ring, I never take them off. So I don't charge them because I don't take them off. Happy early anniversary. Thank you, Dylan. January 31st. I got, like, when I say I love winter, I love winter. It's my birthday in December. It's my mom's birthday. It's Christmas. It's New Year's. And then at the end of January 31st is our wedding anniversary. It was like 35 degrees below freezing here when I got married. And we took outdoor pictures. Oh, everybody thought I was freaking crazy. So yeah. Yeah, I like winter. Cindy, when did you decide to go gray? Was it hard to transition? I haven't dyed my hair in 6 months. Your hair looks gorgeous. Thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate that. It's kind of salt and peppery on top. All the gray, there's like gray streaks underneath. I don't know if you can see that. Like they're like almost white on my temples. So what happened was I used to color my hair, but what would happen is the dye, you would literally see a line growing out within days of getting my hair colored. So then she started pulling these out, and she sort of just bleached the ends to make them a really light color, and then we let the gray grow in. And then it had grown out like quite a bit at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like, and she said to me, like, this is why I love my hairstylist, because I mean, I'm paying big bucks. I got a lot of hair. I'm paying big bucks to get this dyed every month. And she was like, you know, she's like, people pay for hair like yours, like the color, like people pay for that. You maybe should consider not coloring your hair. So we put some little blondie streaks in the end, some like really just to fade out, right? So it would blend a little more naturally. And then I just let it grow out. And then when it got to about here, the ends were just from having been dyed so much and then having been bleached to blend. Then I chopped it to here. If you go back in my videos, you can actually see. When I started, I had like a very distinct dye line right here where it was kind of a reddier brown down here and more of the gray brown up here. And then I chopped my hair up to about here, and now it's just my hair grows really fast, so I'm lucky like that. But that's how I grew it out. It was my hairstylist who convinced me to do it. So she lost a lot of money in all of my dyeing. Witch of Darklight, love you in your vids. Yeah, I just subscribed to Witch of Darklight recently. And yeah, I think it was through Witch of Enchantment that I subscribed to her as well. And I have to say, doing the Neo-Pagan November, I have picked up a lot of new subscriptions. I've subscribed to a lot of new channels, and I also have found another 2 tags that I'm going to do. And one of them is the trad witch tag for traditional witches. And just watching that, I picked up a whole slew of like new channels to watch. Woo! Sorry. Hope I didn't give me vertigo. I picked up a whole bunch of new channels to watch. Like, there has been so much going on. It's really, like, it's been exciting this month. And, you know, I have loved doing Neo-Pagan November. Doing a short every day has been a really, really fun challenge. I have to say, I've really, really enjoyed that. I almost want somebody to keep going. Give me prompts for the day for December. I'd love to keep that going in the shorts, is just to do a little something every day, because I've really enjoyed that. I'm really glad Brittany set that up. I have to say, and I'm so proud of myself that I've like kept up with it. I'm ADHD girl. I don't freaking, and it's like what gets me almost out of bed in the morning. I come home, I make a tea, and I'm like sitting in bed, and I'm like, you know, scroll on social media, and I'm like, oh, I should get up and start my day. And then I'm like, oh, what's the prompt for today? And I look it up, and then I start writing it, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, and then I got something to say about that, and I was like, oh, I gotta make a video, and the next thing you know, I'm up and moving, all because of Neo-Pagan November. So yeah, I need somebody to give me a December dailies challenge. That would be nice, please. Dylan made a bracelet this year in July to dedicate it to our monsoon storm season, and I haven't taken it off. That is really cool, Dylan. That's something else I'm really interested in, is like working with, honoring, venerating the weather and the weather patterns. Like for me here, it's like that extreme cold. Like we are coming up like end of January, beginning of February. Right around Imbolc is like our coldest. It is like the ass crack of winter here. And I want to do something to kind of honor that, you know, like natural natural phenomena, right? Because yeah, that's part of what we do. Ivy's Grove at Tay Kennedy. I'm actually from New England, and it cracks me up when one of my cousins hates winter but doesn't want to move down south because it's too hot. She hates winter all season long. It's funny. I had a thing set up here locally for the eclipse, for the lunar eclipse, and one of the people that was supposed to come, she's so sweet, they were supposed to come to my house at like 3:30 in the morning to watch the lunar eclipse, and it was freaking amazing. But she texted me at like 3:15, and she's like, Taya, I love you. She's like, my desire to do cool witchy things under the full night sky has been overridden by my absolute hatred of winter. I will not be there. I was like, girl, you're living in the wrong climate. Bless her heart. Fave witchy book recommendation. Oh, so many. Always The Crooked Path by Keldon. Treading the Mill by Nigel Pearson. Devil's Dozen by Gemma Gary. Weave the Liminal, Laura Tempest Zakroff. Like so many good books. That's probably the 4 that I would go to first for like trad craft, like my style of craft. I'm actually just working myself up to read Witchery by Juliet Diaz. It's supposed to be good if you want something more generic, more like beginner friendly. Yeah, Yeah, Dylan, exactly. Who has just one book recommendation? Like, duh. Of course, I'm going to give you like way too many. Um, I'm just looking over my bookshelf. Like, what else can I? Look, there's so many books, so many good books. And then the other thing I'd say for witchery is get into your like ancestral practices. You know, so like a lot of my books, hopefully I'm going to do a video on this maybe in December about like my ancestral books. So like I have a couple of books on Scottish immigrants to Canada and how did they adapt to our land, right? I'm looking for what did they bring from their homeland here and adapt for the land upon which we live. So books like that, right? Starting to look into more like ancestral, especially like if you are like white and you live in North America, right? You aren't originally from here. You're not indigenous. So either you've immigrated here or your parents or your ancestors at some point have immigrated here. Where did you come from? What are your sort of ancestral practices, right? And for some of us, I know that's really hard because it's just so removed. Or you're like, maybe you did the DNA test and you're like 12% here and 12% there and 12% there and 12, and it's just such a mix that it's really hard to pick one. But that's sort of what I recommend, right? Is like looking at your ancestral practices. And then at your inspiration as well. It's not that you can't be inspired by other cultures, right? Obviously, yes, you can. I digress. I could go on for days. Yeah, Tradcraft tag. There's a lot of people, Lady Blindwolf says, there's a lot of people that have left the paranormal community as it's way too toxic for I'm assuming for them or for me. So I'm always looking for other witches to watch since a lot no longer make content. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I don't do a lot, like, paranormal stuff scares me. My friend Jasmine Ambrosia, she makes fun of me. And she sends me these TV shows and she's like, you should watch this show. It's really good. And then I start watching it. I'm like, oh my God, there was a jump scare. I can't watch this. And then I get mad at her. So I don't do good with paranormal stuff. I know I'm a witch, but like just, I don't know. My brain just works that way. Abby the Witch came up with the hashtag more than a witch, if that's something you want to do. Did it! I think that was that my first video for November? So like 5 or 6 videos ago. I did do that one. That's what I think I started November out with because I thought that was really interesting. And I think Eerie is Witchcraft also came up with some hashtags. Oh, I'll go check out. I've been following hers, so I will go back and check it out. But yeah, what's the other one I have? Can't remember. There's 2. I printed them out so I can do them. They're the next 2 videos after this will be. This is my Get to Know Me November. So it's all been like questionnaires, and I've just been a lazy content creator, and I do 2 videos a week. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna do questionnaires all month, and then they're like all these people coming up with hashtags, and I'm like, yes. So it's been really good. Yes, I saw that one, Ivy. Your craft, then versus now. I think that might be one of the ones I have printed out. Ass crack of winter. That's right, Dylan. I'm Canadian. We say funny things here. Ivy's Grove. I love Jasmine. I know. I really, really like Jasmine Number. It's funny. We were just talking about her on Justin's live the other night. So on like she knows, what's the word? Like she knows her niche and she works it, and she's got such interesting projects all the time, you know, and she's always collaborating with other people and bringing other people into it. And like, I love, and she's the sweetest person, ever. I love her. Like one day we were messaging back and forth and she's like, she just like phoned me over Messenger and was like, okay, girl, let's just kiki. I'm like, what? What does that mean? Like, I love her. She's the sweetest. Dylan, I backed a Kickstarter that offered 2 ebooks about ancient Roman, Greek, Egyptian magic, and I am excited for it. It should be out April, May. Oh, that sounds really interesting, Dylan. You know what I'm super into right now? Sumerians. The Sumerians. Very, very interested in the Sumerians. And oh my gosh, have you guys watched Ancient Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix. I have like fallen down the rabbit hole. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I went to school. I'm an anthropologist by training. If you ever watch Bones, the show Bones, I mean, it's all over now. It's kind of getting a little dated, but Bones with Emily Deschanel, that's what I went to school to do. Human remains in archaeological context. I'm your girl. And Ancient Apocalypse is about how he's a journalist. He's not a scientist. He's a journalist. And he's like, listen, I just follow the lead wherever it takes me and draw my conclusions. And his hypothesis is that 11,000 years ago, there was another ancient civilization that was very advanced that lived alongside the hunter-gatherer society at the time. And oh my God. Like, he's just following the archaeology, and it's amazing. And he actually has a few scientists who agree with him. Like, it's not like he's totally a wingnut. And fascinating. So if you've got time, watch Ancient Apocalypse. It's basically about there was this ancient apocalypse, and this more advanced society was almost wiped out, and that they came and helped everybody else, all the hunter-gatherers, sort of learn to watch the skies for, you know, other upcoming apocalypses, and they taught them like stonemasonry and like the technology. So interesting. And like backed up by a lot of the science. So fascinating. Like, I could go on for I'm not going to, because this is not what you guys are here for, but like, oh, watch it if you can. Ancient Apocalypse. It's like in the top 10 on Netflix right now. So good. I'm getting he has a couple of books that preceded this, and I'm getting those books for Christmas. All right. Abby says, thanks again for doing my tag. Totally, Abby. Thank you for making your tag. I love, like, I'll be honest, I'm not the most creative. I'm not good at like coming up with things, but when other people come up with things, I'm like, I'm jumping on it. So thank you for doing it. Cause yeah, hello, content. It was great. I love when people come up with tags. Dylan, so your craft is going to change with those ebooks. Yeah, I bet. That's really, yeah. Again, like, oh, I love all that ancient stuff. Lemuel Jr. I just picked up The Witch's Guide to the Paranormal at a book reading with the author. It sounds really interesting. Any plans to do more book reviews? Yeah, I always want to do book reviews. I have The Witch's Guide to the Paranormal by J. Allen Cross. Yes, I listened to their podcast Invoking Witchcraft, and they talked about it on one episode, and I'm like, that sounds so good, because it's paranormal, but it's like got a witchy bend on it, so I'm like, maybe this will ease me into it, and I won't be quite so uncomfortable. So yes, I actually just picked that up. I haven't read it yet. Big long coffee pause, because I have not really read anything. I love doing book reviews, and I don't know what happened. Over the summer, I started reading a lot of fiction over the summer, which was good, and my attention span just went, like, out my ear. I just, like, I'd pick up a book, and I'd start to read it, and I'm like, I just couldn't follow. I just couldn't, like, you'd read 3 pages, and then I'm like, literally thinking about something else while I'm reading the book, and then I'm like, oh crap, I have no idea what I just read. And so I've literally not been able to read since the summer. So doing book reviews right now is kind of like just not happening because I haven't been reading any, but I've been buying lots of books that I want to read. I am so lucky. Guys, I am so privileged to have disposable income. To be like a middle-class white lady living in the suburbs with a husband who's got a good job. Oh my God, do I buy books? And I don't even read them right now. So I'm actually rereading Aidan Wachter 6 Ways right now, and I'm taking notes, and I'm getting a lot out of it. So I think I'll be able to get back to reading shortly, so that will be good. Click on it, Dylan. Watch it. It's really good. Netflix's documentary on Rosalie Norton was amazing. Fascinating artist and occultist witch. Oh, Rosalie Norton. Okay, I'll have to go look that up because I always love witchy stuff. Podcrast, a podcast about procrastination that comes out late every episode. Oh my gosh, yes! My podcast. Totally, that would be me. The Mule Joiner, Jalen Cross, yes. Turns out we live in the same tiny town in Oregon. His book, American Breweria, sounds promising. Yeah, I haven't read any of his stuff, but I really, really, really love his podcast with, no, I forget their name. But yeah, it's him and another person put together this podcast, Invoking Witchcraft. It's really good. They have great topics, and I like their I like their banter, the way they talk. Like, they remind me of me. So yeah, it's pretty good. How many books have you read and finished this year? I don't know. I really don't know. I have shit for memory, so I can't tell you. Like, I don't think I've probably read a book since the winter last year. So like maybe January, February, March last year. Like earlier this year, I mean. Yeah. Oh, another book I bought. What is it called? Where is it? It's like The Witch's Compass, I think it's called. It was new from Llewellyn in August. It's about traditional witchcraft and the compass of traditional witchcraft. It just fascinates me. And again, I started reading that one, and I do think that one's a little bit more of an academic read, and I just struggled. I tried to read it while we were camping, and I ended up just, yeah, fuck it, and it's been sitting on my bookshelf since. But what I've decided is when I'm reading, I'm going to start taking notes as I read, because that's not something I would always just like read a book and be like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then move on to the next book. And I'm like, you know what? I need to start really, and then, something would come up, oh, I'll go back to that book and I'll check it, blah, 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 and I'll reread it. But like, I went back and reread part of Treading the Mill by Nigel Pearson, and I'm like, I don't remember this at all. Like, I read this book twice through, and I don't even remember this section being here at all. So I'm like, okay, I need to start like taking notes as I read, just on the like key concepts from each chapter. You know what I mean? Just so that it solidifies it a little more for me. Because I got the ADHD, I'm not great at making memories. So yeah, I've decided that I need to, like, that's going to be my new project, is when I read a book, I'm reading the book and I'm like taking notes. I think the next one I'm going to do, and Justin, if you're still here, I want you to read it too, I think you might have already, is The Witch's Sabbath by Keldon. That's the next book I'm going to read when I'll probably start it here right away for our little side project. Because I love Keldon. All right. Ivy's Grove at Dylan. That's awesome. My teen daughter is getting into Egyptian, and lately she's been really reading up online into the mythology. You know what? When I was in school, like, I remember in grade 6, I don't know, this was like 40 years ago, guys. No, grade 6, I would have been 12. So that would be like 34 years ago. 34 years ago. Oh, yeah, that's a little better. When I was in grade 6, we did a unit on the Aztecs. Oh my God. Fascinating. I loved it. And then at the same time I did, in grade 6, I got super into like Egypt and, embalming mummies and all the cool things that they did, and like, how did they build the pyramids? And that has been like, things like that fascinated me ever since. But yeah, Sumerians are my new thing. Invoking Witchcraft podcast is my number 1 podcast. Yeah, it's probably my number 1 too, Ivy. Mm-hmm. Just get more bookshelves. There's always space for more bookshelves, right? Okay. Can you see? These are these are those like IKEA shelves that are like floor to ceiling. There's my mess. I have to clean up this room. Like, this is my witchy room, and it's, let's just say, the energy in here isn't so great. I've actually packed out about 4 boxes of stuff already. My previous career exploded in this room, and then I just shut the door and walked away for like over a year. And it's like, okay, I need to sort that shit out. I am not a hoarder. I am ADHD, and cleaning, like, not like cleaning I can do, but organizing and keeping things organized, like everything, a place for everything and everything in its place, not my thing. Like, just, I can't do it. I'm awful. And so this just got worse and worse and worse. And of course, this is also the room where when people are coming over and my husband's like, oh, I don't want to see that, he like throws it in my room and just stashes shit in here all the time. So there's a lot of that too. Just get more bookshelves. Yeah. I have the bookshelves. I just need to clear off all of the old worky work stuff. Psh, what's the organization? The Greek Magical Papyri would be a good book for her. Yeah, I've never read that. Okay, here is my secret confessions, guys. I have not read a lot of stuff that I probably should have. Like, I haven't read Aradia. Lord Tempest Zakharov actually rewrote Aradia. Right, for like, it was like Aradia for the Modern Witch or something like that. And I was like, oh, I should read that. No, still haven't done it. Greek Magical Papyri. Like, just, there's all these sort of foundational texts, or like even just like Robert Graves' The White Goddess, or The Witch Cult of Western Europe by Margaret Murray, which we know are like, they've kind of been debunked, a lot of what they talk about, but those were like foundational texts that inspired, especially like traditional witchcraft and Wicca. I've never read them. I really should. Doreen Valiente. I've read one Doreen Valiente book because I had to do it for school for like a book review project. Otherwise, I haven't read any Doreen Valiente. Like, a lot that I have not touched that, like, it's like I know all about them. I've studied what they're about, but I haven't read the actual text. I should get around to that. Dylan, but a 5-subject notebook, and you've been taking notes on the books you've been reading. Yeah, I have. Oh, is it here? It's not here. It's out on my other desk. I have like a traveler style notebook where it's got like the elastic bands, and you can like, put little notebooks in. And one of those notebooks is like my learning book. And as I read, I take notes in there. So all of my notes about all of my learning, my reading, or even like online classes and stuff, all goes in there, so that I'm going to have just a single place where I reference all of it. So yeah, a good note-taking system is important. You embalmed a chicken in grade 6? What? What? That's intense, man. That's intense. Yeah, that, like, I didn't know that places that they did that. That's interesting. Maybe that's an American thing. In grade 6, I think we dissect frogs. I'm trying to remember, my son just went through grade 6. I think he dissected a frog in grade 6. Or was that grade 7? Might be grade 7. And then this year he had to do a cow's eye, which freaked him the hell out. Dylan, yeah, no. Not reading a lot of foundational texts. Cindy, have you ever worked with bones before? Yes. Bones that I love working with are wishbones. You know, the chicken, the collarbone from your chicken is a wishbone, right? And it's like, you can like snap them. Love wishbones. I used a bone that I found when I made my death oil. I put like this old bone I found when I was out walking around. It was really weird. You don't usually find bones in suburbia. And there was just this random, like, it looked like a femur bone just hanging out by the side of the road. So I picked that up, put it in my death oil. Death oil is not for like killing anything. Any like people or like that. It's for killing ideas, right? So like I did at the eclipse, right, we like what do we want to banish out of our lives? Like, right? I don't know, say it was like negative energies, right? So I wrote like negative energies on my piece of paper, and then I patted it with death oil because it's like to kill the negative energies, and then I folded it up and I burnt it in the fire. That's what I use death oil for. What is embalming when you wrap? Wait, is embalming when you wrap a body, right? If so, yes. No, that's Embalming is what we do to people when they die, and you replace their, in their circulatory system, you replace it with embalming fluid. Mummification is when you wrap. That's mummification. And they put the body in all kinds of different salts to like draw all the moisture out, and then they wrap it with the linens. Yes. Yes. Cordelia. Yes, they do the owl pellets. Yeah. I once found a cat skull in the woods and carried it around everywhere. My mom hated it and made me keep it in the garage and throw it away when we moved. I was so bummed. Oh, when I would have been elementary school, my grandparents lived on an acreage, and out back there was tons of gophers and stuff, and I found a gopher skull. So cool. And I remember bringing it back, and my mom and my grandma were at the house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I found. And my mother was like, oh my God, like, get rid of it. My grandma was like, that's cool, sweetheart. Now go put it outside by the fence, you know? And like would not let me keep it. And I was so bummed. I think some of us are we're just like naturally drawn to this sort of stuff, hey? And a few years back, we had a couple of birds get in a fight in our backyard, and the robin got killed, and it literally pulled like the other bird. It was headless. And the following year, so like that would have been kind of in August, the following spring, so like March, April, maybe April or May, in one of the bushes off to the side, my daughter found the head that had been decapitated, and all it had was some little feathers stuck on the top of it, but otherwise it was mostly just bone now. My husband freaked out. Her and I were like, we're keeping it, and we like put it in a container, and it's not allowed in the house. It's out in the shed. I have to clean it properly, then we'll bring it in the house. But my husband was like, oh my God. He didn't want anything to do with it. Mummification. We did that to the chicken. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. If you have an affinity for dead things as a kid, you might be a bit witchy. Yeah, right? Right? I don't know. I was just fascinated with like the insides of things and how things worked, and yeah. All right, friends, we are heading up on 3 minutes to 11, so it's pretty much time to shut her down. But if you have any last minute questions, throw them in the comments. This will be the video for today, my upload for Saturday. So the next video will be coming out on Wednesday. 1 second. The next two videos are going to be from Night Willow Crafts, the then versus now, and then the Trad Witch tag from Monomqua. I don't even know. So yeah, those will be the next two videos, next Wednesday and next Saturday. Cordelia, when are we doing this again? Well, I do every 500 subscribers. So at 2,500 subscribers, I'll do another live. I love doing them. Like, I'm tempted to do them like once a month, but then I kind of like saving them for when we have 500 subscribers and it's something kind of special. So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing them more often, but right now the next one will be scheduled for when we hit 2,500 subscribers. Nice chatting with you too, Cindy. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your really thoughtful questions. That was really awesome. It's nice when, you know, there's things to talk about. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you all of you for joining us. That's really, really awesome. So I'm going to shut her down, and yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, you guys.